Coming up, ICE raids an apartment building in South Shore. ICE protests continue in Broadview. The impact of the government shutdown. Plus, Northwestern students refuse anti-Semitism training. Your next pizza could be delivered via robot. And Jake previews the new Bruce Springsteen biopic. This is your Fox 32 Week in Review.
Federal agents raided an apartment building on 75th Street and South Shore Drive early Tuesday. The FBI says Border Patrol led a targeted immigration operation. Agents say they were after 6 high-priority targets, including suspected members of a Venezuelan gang. CBP says they arrested more than a dozen people. Those taken into custody were moved to the Broadview ICE facility. One neighbor who did not want to be identified described what he saw.
You hear people screaming, you hear loud bangs and pops, you hear, you see, children outside standing, I don't know if with their parents or not. I mean, it's a little scary.
Activists who went inside afterwards say the building was left damaged.
It's deplorable in there, right? Like the smell is bad. All the doors have been knocked off and ripped off the window, off the hinges, right? Everyone's home is exposed. No one in there seemed or looked safe.
Veronica Castro with the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights said her team heard from neighbors who reported seeing children taken away. Federal agencies have not confirmed that.
Hundreds of masked agents knocking down doors and dragging families out in the middle of the night, holding babies that were unclothed. It's not right.
State Senator Robert Peters said the raid shows the wrong priorities for the area.
Your grocery prices have gone up. Your rent's gone up. Your health care's gone up. And this stupid president has failed to deliver for the American people and instead has engaged in a propaganda campaign of terror.
Border Patrol officials say the building had been taken over by criminal, undocumented immigrants. Community groups dispute that claim and say the total number of arrests remains unclear. Federal officials have also not said if more raids are planned.
And as we have seen for about the last month, all eyes are on the Broadview ICE facility. We were just listening into a press conference a short while ago. You can see a view here. And we have had a stepped up police presence in that area. And you can see some people are being detained. Some of the protesters are being taken back here. We know that there is a unified command this week at that Broadview ICE facility, and we're waiting momentarily to hear from Gabby about what she's seeing from her vantage point. But it does look like this is around the 25th Street area where we're seeing them walk back a few of the protesters. Today we have a Broadview police on scene. We also have state police who are there. We have some who are with other agencies that have come. Cook County sheriffs are in this area as well. And there is not only a unified police presence there, but they also have a free speech zone. So it does look like that's what we're seeing there at the 25th Street area. If you compare this to what we have seen in weeks past, even though we're seeing some activity here, it's still a lot more peaceful, especially coming off of last week. Last week, by this point in time, we were seeing some of the protesters get hit with some rubber bullets in this area. We saw some pepper spray being dispersed into the crowds that we were seeing building. At that point, that was the first week that we saw the fences go up in the area as well. And that's when we saw the protesters kind of break off into two groups. One that stayed there at the fences in front of the Broadview ICE facility, and then those that went around to that 25th side. And that's where you see the loading and unloading going on. So they were trying to keep ICE agents from getting in and out of the facility there at the 25th Street area. But this week, you can see that is cordoned off, and so those vehicles are getting in and out. We do have Gabby on the phone now, or she's live now, so let's go to her. Gabby, what are you seeing there in front of the facility?
What are you seeing? Yeah, we just got done with a press conference. I've been trying to sneak peeks of some of our other feeds from our other photojournalists over at 25th and Lexington, also Skyfox up above this area. We're seeing a lot of police presence, just as you guys are. A lot of what they're calling for here in this press conference, obviously, was transparency, accountability, oversight. They don't think it's fair what's happening here with ICE agents when people are peacefully protesting. As we know, this has been happening the last few weeks. Something that we really haven't seen the last few weeks is obviously this amount of police right now. We're hearing of more arrests happening over there at the 25th in Lexington area, and also seeing that from Skyfox. I'm just going to go through some of the notes that I have here from some of our photojournalist that's over in the other area, who's keeping me updated on what some of the stuff that's happening. So around 9:12, an ICE, an armored vehicle, a vehicle going through. It looked like an armored vehicle of ICE agents. It looked like they were holding a gun on there as well. Also, vehicles entering under ICE protection, ICE armed vehicle pulling through the crowd. There's cameras around. There's protesters chanting and screaming. And hoping that we can get another a look. Maybe I'm going to go over to that area and see if I can get something closer, some more information. Really, we're waiting for that press conference for the elected officials, community leaders, to chat with us. I'm going to gather some more information for you all, see again if I can get another vantage point. So I'm going to toss it back to you for now. Live in Broadview, Gabriela Primus.
Gabby, thank you. We'll check back in with you soon. And again, this is being monitored not just throughout our area, but really throughout the nation at this point in time. So we'll get back to the Broadview ICE facility and more of what's happening there, and also more on what's happening here in our studio after this.
Judging by the comments from lawmakers today, this shutdown is not going to end anytime soon. Senate Democrats did not agree to put funding bill forward that had been passed by Republicans in the House, so there's no short-term budget, and all but essential government operations will cease. Now, many essential workers like TSA or FAA controllers will still go to work without a paycheck. At issue, Democrats did not support the expiration of subsidies to help people afford Obama health care insurance premiums. Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez says that if those subsidies expire, it could cause premiums to soar in the next couple of weeks.
On October 14th, open enrollment starts. You will see the difference in insurance premiums as early as 2 weeks from now if we don't resolve that right now. Waiting till November 21st, when people have between October 14th and December 1st to finalize their open enrollment, will actually devastate millions of people who would otherwise not have health care.
Now, what does this mean for people in Illinois? Well, there are more than 150,000 Illinoisans that work for the federal government. They'll be impacted. The president has vowed to lay off government workers if an agreement isn't reached soon. Republicans like Peoria Congressman Darren LaHood tell me they are open to negotiating Obamacare subsidies. But as the vice president said, they don't want to do it as part of the spending bill. Today, Vice President Vance repeated the line that Democrats are holding this up in order to give health care to undocumented immigrants. That's a claim that Democrats have repeatedly said is completely false.
I think it's important for the American people to realize that the far left faction of Senate Democrats shut down the government because we wouldn't give them hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens. It's actually not even all Senate Democrats. I was really gratified to see that a few of the moderate Senate Democrats voted with Senate Republicans last night to keep the government open.
One more important government function, federal courts. The judiciary says today courts will stay open and have enough funding to do so through October 17th. After that, we're not sure.
Cubs hosting quite the party in Wrigleyville right now, winning the wild card series thanks to tonight's 3-1 winner over the Padres in Game 3. Solid pitching, exceptional defense, and PCA delivered with a big hit to start the scoring. And Michael Busch with that home run at the end really put it away.
Yeah, he really did. That third run felt enormous, didn't it? And as it turned out, it was. But there's nothing like playoff baseball, man. There's nothing like that energy, that excitement, that feel, that tension, that terror. If you actually let yourself get invested, you feel like it's going to slip away multiple times. And this was a scary game for a while for these Cubs.
Especially that ninth inning.
It stayed scary right there at the end. But Craig Counsell, all the stuff that he he has spouted all year long about out-getters and everybody just having to do their job, no matter what it was, and put your ego aside. It all came to play tonight, didn't it? All made a lot more sense in the postseason.
How did you feel about Jamison Tyon's performance today? PCA coming through after he had struggled through the first two games?
Yeah, I thought Jamison Tyon was brilliant. I thought he could have gone longer and maybe given him a shot because the stuff was so crisp, but it's a winner-go-home game, and they had a pretty full bullpen to work with. The PCA development of maybe him finding his comfort once again and just trying to make contact, that's all he needs to do. Any slug is a bonus. It's always just been a bonus in his profile. So just that development could be absolutely huge for this offense in what could be a long postseason.
Yeah, it could be a long postseason. We've got a best-of-5 series starting now in Milwaukee on Saturday. PCA on the field, boy, he was really animated with the fans. I don't know if you had a chance to see the celebration at the end of the game, but man, he's still a kid, and that's sometimes what we forget.
I saw a great bleacher angle, somebody's phone, of the final out. And when he catches that ball, he doesn't run in and celebrate.
He looks into the bleachers.
He turns and celebrates with Pete's people. And if you've ever been out there, you can feel that connection. That's real, it's legit, and it drives him, and it drives the fans too. So he makes that final catch, turns around, celebrates with his people. There's a real thing. We've seen it brewing, and we thought maybe he'd be a superstar this early. He's not quite a superstar. He's a very flawed young player. But boy, is he skilled and energetic and emotional and passionate and fun.
I know you're a big baseball fan. How much does this mean to the baseball fans in Chicago who have not seen playoff baseball since 2020?
Lou, they've only clinched a postseason series at Wrigley 3 times.
It's amazing.
Ever. I saw that. And I was at 2015, the NLDS against the Cardinals, and then 16 against the Dodgers to go to the World Series. And you remember that night?
Oh, yeah.
That was such a massive night. That was the big victory. And now this thing tonight. So it's kind of back. It's reconnecting people into what the joy can really be.
It's awesome.
Governor J.B. Pritzker says the Illinois National Guard just today got word that the Department of Homeland Security wants 100 military troops sent here. They reportedly put in the request with the Department of War, apparently to protect ICE agents and facilities.
What I have been warning of is now being realized.
Governor J.B. Pritzker did not mince words when he addressed recent ICE activity in the city and suburbs.
All of this has been aimed at causing chaos and mayhem in the hopes of creating a pretext to deploy military troops against Chicago.
City, county, and state leaders stood united to denounce the move.
Whether it's in Portland, Los Angeles, or Chicago, we cannot accept the militarization of our cities.
Agents in tactical gear are carrying long guns on our streets. None of this creates safety or security. It only spreads fear.
Over the weekend, Border Patrol agents were spotted in large numbers on the Mag Mile and in high-traffic tourist destinations.
In Millennium Park, federal agents interrogated a family as their small daughter held onto her doll.
In another case, Pritzker says a group of construction workers was detained near Tribune Tower.
ICE is running around the loop, harassing people for not being white.
According to the governor, 60% of the people who have been detained by ICE this year in Illinois have no criminal convictions.
None of this chaos and none of these acts make us safer. To be clear, our U.S. Constitution is still the law of the land.
Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul also warns that if troops are sent to the state, he will be taking legal action against the Trump administration, like Oregon is doing now.
The mobilization of the military isn't just an ineffective strategy to address crime. It is illegal. The Posse Comitatus Act, as I've stated before, limits the federal government's ability to use the military for domestic law enforcement.
The governor says he doesn't know which troops could be sent here and that the Trump administration has not communicated with state or local officials about this plan. We reached out to the DHS and to the White House for more details, but did not yet hear back. Now, Broadview Mayor Katrina Thompson was also in attendance at today's briefing. She will be holding a press conference of her own tomorrow morning.
Coming up, Northwestern students refuse anti-Semitism training. Dozens busted for driving on the shoulder. And a woman smears dog poop on a Cybertruck.
We were, able to immediately recognize the glaring red flags in this training.
Hundreds of Northwestern undergrad and graduate students have been unable to enroll because they're pushing back against what's in the anti-Semitism training. It is part of a wave of controversial trainings put in place after the Trump administration threatened to pull funding if schools fail to address campus anti-Semitism.
A hand-drawn map of the Israel-Palestine region that did not have Palestine written anywhere on the map. And within the bounds of Israel, it included a portion of Syria that is internationally recognized to not belong to Israel.
They said the training could have been put together by the many researchers and experts on campus.
Northwestern decided to partner with the Jewish United Fund, which is a nonprofit in Chicago that is well known for advocating in support of policies and defense for the state of Israel. So immediately that sort of agenda came through in the content. It was highly political.
They're part of a large group that wrote an open letter to administrators, writing in one section, as a group of students and graduate workers who stand united against racist, anti-Semitic, anti-Arab, anti-Muslim, and anti-Palestinian discrimination, we cannot abide by these trainings which reinforce rather than reduce the proliferation of discriminatory bias in our communities.
I teach at Northwestern, and I feel an immense responsibility for ourselves and our consciences, but also for our students, not to disseminate non-factual, false informations about the history of the region, and for not endorsing silently the idea that any critique of Zionism or of the State of Israel could be and will be construed as misconstrued as anti-Semitism.
The students say they have had many discussions with faculty, and they say most agree with them. They're not saying that anti-Semitism isn't important, quite the opposite. They say some students have had to complete the training under duress, or they would lose their funding, their status, their fellowships, and in some cases, their visa. The deadline for everyone is October 20th.
It worries me that Northwestern might encounter students who are looking to be informed and instead are being fed an opinion. People do not want to live in a country in which our ability to stay at a job that we've been at for 5 years depends on whether we are willing to undergo a training that includes ideological, political propaganda about a foreign country.
Northwestern has not yet responded to our request for a response.
Well, it can be dangerous, right? You see those people, they're flying in that emergency lane, aka the shoulder, so they want to stop it. According to the department, enhanced expressway patrols quite literally took off this month, targeting dangerous driving along major routes like the Eisenhower Expressway. In just 3 hours, 120 motorists were ticketed for driving on the shoulder. 49 of them were caught by the eye in the sky. Social media is reacting to this bold new tactic by the Cook County Sheriff's Office, using a helicopter to catch drivers illegally using the shoulder to bypass traffic. Reaction has been mixed, but there was mostly applause for stopping cars in their tracks. The fines are steep, and tickets can be as low as $250 and be as high as $1,000. The department says this isn't just about traffic violations. It's also about saving lives. Using the shoulder to pass slower traffic is dangerous and can lead to catastrophic accidents. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports that in the year 2023, 585 fatal crashes happened on the shoulder right here in the United States.
Some of these folks think they're so clever because they'll ride the shoulder, and if they see a police car up ahead or for some other reason, but usually because they see a police car, they'll try to duck into traffic then and they think they've cleared it. We already have all the video footage from up above, and so we just go into the traffic ourselves, get behind the person, put the lights on, pull them over, and they're like, what? And it's like, no, And I say most of them admit it right away, not that we need the admission. We have all the evidence we need.
And so far, the sheriff's office says they'll continue these aerial patrols without any warning. If you're caught on the shoulder, you can expect a ticket, and depending on your driving history, it could cost you up to $8,000. Here's a piece of advice: just don't do it. Now, Lyons Police Chief Thomas Herian points the finger at the Safety Act, saying that's why the suspect is constantly being let out of jail. We first learned about 27-year-old Joseph Davenport on September 9th. That was when he was caught stealing a package allegedly off of a front porch in Bellwood. He was arrested but let go. Now, this is that viral video. In it, Jaleel Anthony, a licensed concealed carry holder, decided to detain Davenport until police arrived. Davenport had been accused of stealing a package from the front porch of the family's home. He returned a second time and tried to pull the same stunt, but this time the package was a decoy. He was arrested on the spot, and during a search of his Chrysler 200, officers uncovered 30 other stolen packages. Despite the discovery, Davenport was released from custody. The 27-year-old was already on law enforcement's radar in neighboring Berwyn and also Lyons. And just days later, he was arrested again, actually in Lyons, wearing a World's Greatest Dad t-shirt. What he told police during that interview certainly didn't earn him any Father of the Year awards.
Our arrest in Lyons, he had statements that tied directly to Amazon, but was afraid to give up the individual's name because he said it was in fear for his family.
Now, that arrest on September 19th is one of many over the years. Some of Davenport's crimes go all the way back to when he was a juvenile. Lyons police are charging him with 6 misdemeanors for the packages he's allegedly stole there. In 2023, court records reveal that Davenport was an employee at the Amazon sorting center in University Park, and it's unclear if that is how he's finding out when packages are being delivered or if he is indeed using an inside source. The document we showed you earlier, those are areas in which Davenport has been tracked using license plate readers, facial recognition, and coordination with other local law enforcement agencies. He's been arrested multiple times, but he keeps getting released due to issues, at least according to the police chief, with the Safety Act legislation.
He doesn't understand the word no. So we continue to charge him, but what happens on the Safety Act? The Unsafety Act, catch and release. Charge him, let him go. Misdemeanors are up to 365 days in jail, right? Correct, he said multiple misdemeanors. It'll be interesting what, hopefully, the state's attorney will aggressively want to prosecute these cases, and they will request time in jail. And he should get, for each misdemeanor, up to 364 days in jail.
So we're talking about 6 years if those charges actually stick. He was last tracked in Northwest Indiana. I'm talking about Maryville, Indiana, Schererville, the Dyer area. Lyons police have no idea what Davenport is doing with the packages. They have his cell phone and will be doing a forensic investigation to see if they can find out more. And of course, I emailed Amazon to see if Davenport is still employed there. I haven't heard back. And here's a tip for anyone watching out there. This comes straight from police. They say report the theft to Amazon, but also make sure that you report it to police as well.
A man visiting Chicago says a woman wiped dog feces on his Cybertruck while it was parked in the North Halstead Lakeview area. John Evans is in town from Savannah. He says it happened yesterday. His truck, which is wrapped in that American flag decal and features a large President Trump signature, has cameras. It captured the woman, he says, in action. He posted the images online. By this morning, people claim to have identified her and a business she is allegedly associated with. The online sleuths then began leaving negative reviews about that business. Evans says incidents like this further the political divide in the country.
We are Americans. You have an obligation to do better. I think that people that align themselves with her views that may be opposite of mine, they would tell her, when you do something like this, you're making the problem worse. You are increasing the polarization in this country, and it's not necessary. This is America. You're supposed to live and let live.
We reached out to the business allegedly tied to the woman, but have not yet heard back. Evans says he did not file a police report because he feels like the public backlash is punishment enough.
You know, someone like Mike Kaplan or other people who work or live off the Kennedy, they must be ecstatic. I mean, jumping for joy. Because, yes, all mainline lanes will open on the Kennedy, the outbound side, by 10 a.m. on Sunday. This is a whole month ahead of schedule. Now, we are going to see some overnight work in order to reopen these lanes. So let's talk about it. You should see some video earlier of drivers that were enjoying the opening north of Diversey. So tomorrow this time, the outbound side will be open north of Damon, Friday after North Avenue, and so on until the entire stretch is open by Sunday morning. Now, in addition, the outbound Kennedy ramps to Damon and Augusta Boulevard, Milwaukee Avenue will also reopen. We know we've been dealing with ramp closures as well. For those express lanes, a lot of people have questions. They will remain open in the outbound direction while final work continues for the next few weeks, so they won't be reversing just yet. Work will also continue into October with those ramps, including the Wilson Avenue ramp that will close later on this week. This is very welcome news. But we do have some projects that are unrelated to this 3-year one that we're just getting done with. The Ontario Street feeder entrance ramp will close in the next week or two. IDOT says drivers will have to look forward to work through next summer on the Ontario and Ohio feeder ramps, which won't be fun. But we're focusing on the positive again. Outbound side of the Kennedy should reopen by 10 a.m. on Sunday.
What is actually safe to eat after this latest recall? Are there certain types of foods more commonly associated with this type of food poisoning?
Yeah, so Listeria is the one you get a little worried about with soft cheeses like feta, queso, these sorts of things. And then lunch meats, that was the big outbreak, I think back in June or July. And actually the Listeria, this particular outbreak with the frozen foods was the same organism. Interestingly, that's where you're seeing an increase is in these these prepackaged frozen foods, which you think could be quite safe. But one thing about Listeria, it likes growing in the cold. So the longer it sits in your refrigerator, the higher the load of bacteria becomes. And your risk of getting an infection from it is higher, obviously, the higher the organism load in the food you're eating.
Interesting. Okay, so what are the symptoms? And then how soon after eating those products might you notice those symptoms?
So the vast majority of people, like 95%, are going to get a gastroenteritis, which is going to be diarrhea, fever, abdominal pain, cramps, maybe some muscle aches and pains. About 24 hours to at most 6 days after consuming the food is going to get you into trouble. So that one's pretty swift. The more serious systemic injury, the neurologic injury, the other systemic issues like with the myocardium, et cetera, the heart, can be anywhere from 10 to even up to several weeks later.
Wow. So what makes the symptoms deadly for people?
When it gets systemic, when it gets into your bloodstream, that's where you get into trouble. Vast majority of us are going to get a viral, not viral, but a bacterial sort of enteritis and have some couple bad days of diarrhea to resolve by itself. Usually we never test those people. We don't diagnose it with stool cultures. But occasionally, if you're immunocompromised, if you're pregnant, if you're on the very end of the life stage, very early or very elderly, you can get into difficulties with particularly the neurologic, the meningitis, cerebritis, meningoencephalitis can be deadly. 50% mortality rate with that. So
that is horrifying. So is this a lifelong condition for those people then, once they've been exposed to it? This is something they're going to have to kind of manage for the rest of their lives.
There is a carriage rate with Listeria, but it's pretty small. Most people are asymptomatic carriers, don't get into trouble with it. The issue is if pregnancy is not a lifelong issue, but being immunocompromised can be, being over the age of 65 can be. So you're just going to have to practice food safety. Cold cuts in particular, people keep those they're expensive. People leave them in the fridge for quite a while. Even if they're in the packaging and never been opened, they should be pitched in 2 weeks. If they've been open 3 to 5 days, you've got to get rid of those. You don't cook your cold cuts, right? So you can't wash them. So they're a risk for you. So you have to, I'm not good at it, but you just got to throw that stuff out after a few days. Same with the soft cheeses.
That timeline is very surprising. So does reheating or maybe cooking food a certain way reduce your risk?
Yeah, if you can bring it up to 165 degrees, you reduce the risk. Unfortunately, if you think about it, you don't cook soft cheeses there very often. I mean, maybe you do, but mostly you don't. Cold cuts, you eat them in a cold sandwich. You're not going to bring it up to that temperature. A hot dog, you probably will. So yes, you can cook it off, but keeping it in the refrigerator is not going to help you. As a matter of fact, it likes to grow there. Actually, if you buy the cold cuts at day 1, by day 5, then the amount of Listeria in that cold cut, if it's in there, is going to increase quite a bit. And it's the volume of that bug you get when you eat the food that gets you into trouble.
Okay, last question. So if you think you have been exposed to Listeria, what should you do?
You do want to call your physician, talk about it. There's no treatment. Most people have, like I said, a self-limited gastroenteritis. The people who really need to contact their physician are if you're pregnant, you have immunocompromised, or you're like above the age 65. You just want to check with them, particularly if you're having systemic complaints like fever, chills, and really important if you're having any neurologic issues, balance issues, tremors, headaches. Those are reasons you really need to contact your physician, particularly if you've eaten any of those suspect foods, soft cheeses, these frozen pre-prepared meals, as well as cold cuts or those kind of meals.
Coming up, a robot delivering your pizza, free mini golf on the South Side, and save cash on holiday travel.
Your next food delivery might not actually come from a person, but from a robot rolling right down your sidewalk.
I cannot believe my eyes. Serve Robotics has officially landed in Chicago. They are bringing adorable AI-powered delivery robot straight to your doorstep. And here to tell us more about it is Vignesh Ram, VP of Policy at Serve Robotics. Brian and I have so many questions for you. I'm going to let him start.
First of all, I'm surprised how big this thing is. How does it work? Are you teaching restaurants? How far are these things able to go? How do they get to where they're going? I get so many questions.
Yeah, great questions. So Serve Robotics, just a little bit of background on us. We're a leading delivery robotics platform. We build autonomous delivery robots that integrate with Uber Eats and basically pick up an order anywhere up to 1.5 miles from your home, and they can go pick it up at the restaurant, bring it to your place autonomously, and just open up the bin and pick up your order.
So what is inside right now? Can you show us?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got...
It better be something good, Vignesh.
See if we can get the bin open real
And
quick.
I like how her name's Jolie.
Jolene.
Isn't that cute?
Jolene.
Yeah, so every robot has a name, and it's just a way to make sure they're like humanized, because all of us, when you're walking on sidewalks, you want to make sure that you're saying hello to your friends, and know which way you're going. So we brought some pizza from Jet's Pizza for you all.
We already love you. Thank you. So when you are delivering this to my doorstep, I was watching the promo for this. I'm getting a code on my phone, and that allows me to unlock the device. So I know that no one else is going to be tampering with my food before it gets to my door.
That's right. That's right.
Can I ask also, in the promo that I saw, how does it know when to cross the street? Because it's crossing the street with people. How does it know not to run people over? And we have so many different climates here in Chicago. Is it able to go on the ice?
Yeah, so just like people, it basically has all the sensors that you need to go and experience the world, right? Like when you walk down the street, you've got eyes, ears, touch, all of those things. So kind of similarly, it's got a LiDAR unit on the top, and it has other sensors that enable it to know when it's appropriate to cross the street and cross the street safely. And it yields right of way to pedestrians, so that if you're someone who uses the sidewalk and you want to get around a robot, the robot will yield to you.
Now, we know that this is new here in Chicago. What neighborhoods is this available in, and are you thinking about expanding at some point?
Yeah, so we're starting out with a number of robots in sort of just outside of the central business district, and we've already got over 100 merchants that are signed up. And we're going to have dozens of robots coming to town. So as time goes on, you'll see them in more neighborhoods. Definitely let us know if you have a great experience, and that can help us expand.
And is this cheaper than delivery?
Yeah, I think in the long run, you think about how much it costs you to get your average food delivery order. You go on there, you're spending $10. Our goal is to drive that cost down, to hopefully make sure that food delivery is more accessible to more people.
Because when we're on Uber Eats, you get that extra 20%
yes.
or so. What would surprise people the most about this technology and how it works?
Yeah, I think more than anything else, we want to make sure that we were designing this for our sidewalks. That's why they have names. That's why they have expressions. And
I didn't see the expressions. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, how many times have you walked down the sidewalk and played a little bit of chicken with someone else? You want to get a sense of where folks are going, and the expressions make sure that when you're walking, you have a sense of where the robot's going, and that it's going to be polite and courteous. After all, it's doing a job.
I'm speechless about this. I feel like this is the future, okay, Vignesh? Like, I'm glad that you got in on it now, because you're going to be a very rich man down the road. I worry about seeing these things like I do the divvy bikes on Lower Wacker, like people hacking into these, people stealing them, but you're not concerned about this, and that has not happened in the other markets?
It's not that things don't happen, it's that they happen very rarely.
Okay.
So we have a 99.8% delivery success rate, which means the huge majority of delivery orders make it to people's homes safely. Crossing streets, making sure, going over inconsistent sidewalks, all of that, no problem.
Since you've rolled this out, what's been the response from, I guess, not just people who are actually using this service, but people literally just walking down the street and they're waiting at a stoplight next to a robot?
Honestly, it's been amazing. Over time, I think, in the other markets that we operate in, so we're in LA, Miami, Dallas, Atlanta. Chicago's our first foray into the Midwest. In all of those places, over time, it just becomes a normal occurrence. So you're walking down the street and it's like, oh, there's Jolene.
It's like the Jetsons in real life, right?
It is super cute. So and if you need any Natalie's or Brian's to add to the mix, I think those delivery machines are very successful. Vignesh, thank you so much for coming in and explaining this new technology.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
This is a perfect place for families, not just golf enthusiasts, as I said. Yeah, it's right here in Columbus Park on the west side in the Austin neighborhood. I'm with Michael Merchant. You are the Chief of Staff with the Chicago Park District. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Gabby. How about yourself?
You know what? You couldn't have teed up a better morning for being here on a mini golf course because it's beautiful, the sun is shining. Let's talk about how it's been the last month of this brand new space being open for people.
Absolutely. We've been so excited to have this facility open. I mean, if you look at it, it's beautiful. It's constantly having young kids and families out here enjoying it for free, so it's been great.
You know what? I like to stress to people, yes, it's free, but when you come here, it's okay if you don't have a putter, right?
That's
or
right.
balls, you can get some just like I have this morning.
Just like, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And if you want to play on the bigger course, we rent the clubs here too.
That's true. Yeah, you have a 9-hole course that's around you as well in the heart of the city. Let's talk about the impact that this has had really on the west side. You know, this is something new and beautiful, along with a course that's been here for years and years.
100%. So this is just an added amenity to something that has been here for such a long time, but a lot of people don't really have the exposure. But having something like this that's free and open to the community, it's going to bring people in. And it's going to turn more people on to a beautiful game of golf.
Yeah. Do you hope to do this at other parks, maybe around the city? Because maybe it shouldn't just be on the west side.
So yes, if we have the ability to do this in other places, people are asking about it. They're seeing it. They're like, when are we going to get one of these in our neighborhood? So we're looking at it.
Have you heard some comments from maybe families who are already getting maybe more of an interest in golf?
Oh, absolutely. This is something that's like super hot, and it's a great place to come on the weekends and just have your young kids and introduces you to the game, so 100%.
Well, and I like how this morning even we've had people who are waiting for their tee time come in and practice their short game as well.
It's something I do as well.
Oh, there we go. Well, and something I obviously need to work on too. If people are wanting more information, should they just go online? You know, what are the hours of operation here if they do want to stop by?
So the hours, they do vary, but just go online and we have all the information out there. We have a new interactive website, so it's easy to find the information.
Mike, when you heard that you guys were getting a mini golf course and now seeing it come to life, did you think it was going to be this nice?
I had no idea. It's beautiful. And then looking at it up against the backdrop of the 9-hole course, I'm going to be out here a lot more often now.
I'm telling you, this is state of the art. Okay, guys, we'll have more information about this mini golf course here at Columbus Park on our website, fox32chicago.com. Look at my balls. They're all pretty much right next to the hole. I'm not doing that bad, Mike, I would have to say. What do you guys think? Let's try a couple more.
We're always
here.
on Team Gabby.
Go, go, go.
Oh,
that,
you know what?
Gabby.
It went in the bad spot and then it went in the good spot.
Calm under pressure. We love it.
I'll be ready.
This is the one. Hole in one.
Oh! It was right next to it.
Oh. There's just a slight breeze blowing, Caitlin. I think she'd have it. Yeah, she's great.
Exactly.
Believe it or not, the winter holidays are less than 100 days away.
Still have time to think about what gifts you want to buy, but the clock is ticking when it comes to your holiday travel plans.
In tonight's special report, I take a look at how to save some time and money when planning that trip.
When it comes to planning a trip for the holidays, it's hard not to get lost on the internet. But you don't have to scroll your time away. There is help out there, and we found some for free.
To read through all of the reviews becomes tedious, it becomes time-consuming, and then you don't want to get to your destination and say you made a mistake, because travel is expensive. You want to get there knowing you have the best option for yourself, for your family.
Emily Petrick owns EP Signature Travel in Burr Ridge. She specializes in helping moms plan vacations for their families.
I knew that I wanted to help other moms because I had been in that position where I was trying to do all the things and it became really difficult. And so I'm trying to use my passion to help other moms who maybe planning vacations isn't their thing.
Or maybe they just don't have the time. Christy Wagner is a working mom from LaGrange Park who has 3 young kids.
At the time, they were 8, 6, and 1. And so, traveling with kids is one thing, but traveling with a baby is another.
She worked with Emily to plan her family's Florida vacation last year. She booked the flights while Emily handled the hotel.
So to take that piece out of the planning load was amazing. So I could just focus on like what my kids actually needed, the things we were bringing. I had a set of requirements so that the big kids could have fun while the baby napped, and that our hotel room could accommodate, you know, all of us to hang out.
Christy took advantage of the lodging or hotel-only option when planning her trip with Emily that she offers for free.
For the hotel-only option, you can book your hotel through me, and I can pass on certain amenities that the hotel offers, only to travel advisors. That might include early check-in and late check-out subject to availability, a room upgrade subject to availability at the time of checking in.
As a trip advisor, Emily says she is sometimes able to pass on a hotel credit for dining or valet when booking a room. She offers this service for free because the hotel pays her a commission.
This is for moms who want to plan their own travel. They know what hotels they want. They don't really need a travel advisor for that, but they want to have the value.
If you need to find a hotel or book a flight, Emily can help with that too, but for a fee. If you're thinking about a staycation for the holidays,
you can't VIP yourself, but I can VIP you. So it depends hotel to hotel, which ones are more responsive to working with travel advisors, but a lot of them are. You'd be surprised.
But if you're going to hit the road come December and plan to do your travel plans yourself, experts say now is the time to start putting them together.
Booking your airfare for a holiday trip is really something you want to do before the holidays come around. So the sooner you book your holiday airfare, the better the price is going to be. Typically, they start increasing in prices in October, and every week you wait to book, the price could slowly creep up.
Consumer finance expert Andrea Warrock says you can make the planning process easier by using a few apps to lighten the load.
Trivago gives you price alerts on hotels. Hopper and Google Flights will give you flight tracking prices. You can also do this in Travelocity. They have a feature there.
Warrock also suggests looking at a warehouse club for vacation package options. When looking for a hotel deal, she says don't assume you're getting the better price when using a third-party site.
Sometimes booking directly with the hotels these days is going to offer a bigger discount because those hotels don't want to pay these third-party booking sites a portion of your rate. So they rather give you a deal directly.
Our expert says the peak time for holiday travel, by the way, will begin around December 18th.
Coming up, celebrating mariachi music in Chicago, Moon Jellies at Brookfield Zoo, and Jake hits New Jersey for the Bruce Springsteen biopic.
Mariachi music is one of the most important parts of Mexican culture and helps people connect to their heritage.
So, of course, Chicago has a great mariachi scene. Fox 32 photojournalist Rafael Varela gives you an inside look at a mariachi band and what their music means to them.
Tú estás atrás esperando, bailando, y es en la misma nota.
It's like a sense of identity, I would say. So it's, identity.
Mariachi, I mean, it's just a way to express who we are as a person, but mostly as a culture.
Showing this to the new generations is a very important role we all play in the group.
Mexican culture and kind of like how we can just feel like one. Even if we come from super different backgrounds, just feel like one.
We get to feel proud like the whole year, right? But especially in this this month, that's when we get to remember what we've been through and talking about culture, music. We love to bring this music to the people in Chicago. So, but Chicago actually is a very special place for mariachi. There's a lot of people who loves mariachi.
Music can really bring us together.
Fly with me, let's fly away. And tomorrow, should you ask me for the world somehow?
Today we're introducing you to a creature that is made up of 95% water. I'm here at Brookfield Zoo, Chicago with President and CEO, Dr. Mike, and we are talking about moon jellies. These are pretty amazing little guys.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's a really fascinating animal. They've been around for hundreds of millions of years on the planet, and just an incredible life cycle. And this is our chance to bring people behind the scenes and let our guests experience those different stages of the life cycle, learn about how we grow them up and care for them here at the zoo.
Awesome. So this is the Moon Jelly Encounter. You can sign up for it online. So let's start with the first phase of their life.
So they start off as a polyp, which we can see on these little cards here, and they look like a little sea anemone. And they'll live in that phase for a year or two, and then from there they'll go through a process called strobilation, where they actually spawn sort of off of this polyp and turn into the medusa, or the jelly shape that we always think of as a jellyfish.
Sure. Okay, and then we're going to back up over here. And what do they eat, Dr. Mike?
This is brine shrimp that we're culturing here, and that's the food. So in the wild, they're just filter feeders. They're just filtering that zooplankton or phytoplankton out of the water. They've got these little stinging cells. We all think of jellyfish as stinging, and they use those little nematocysts or stinging cells to paralyze that plankton, and that's how they then consume it.
All right. I know brine shrimp is sea monkeys, so I don't know, maybe people out just kind of making it like relatable. Okay, and then what is this under the microscope?
So we're looking at here are these polyps, and actually on the microscope you can see the polyp, you can see kind of the sea anemone shape there, and then also on the slide here, we'll try and move around a little bit to where we can see some of the brine shrimp on here as well.
Here, I'll pull that one over.
Yeah. There we go.
There. They kind of look like tiny little tadpoles.
Yeah.
All right, and then backing up here, and guests can actually feed these little guys.
That's right, yeah. So as part of this encounter, the opportunity to come back behind the scenes with us here and actually have the opportunity to feed some of the moon jellies.
What am I doing here?
So you've got brine shrimp right there, so you just want to get it kind of down close to the jelly there and squirt it out, and you'll...
Delicious! And then we can also touch them, is that correct? So we can
touch these, yeah. So their stinging cells are not able to penetrate human skin, the moon jellies. We want to be very careful with jellies that we encounter in the ocean because many of them can sting and have a really painful
You know what? I'm going to leave that part to you. And then we end with a bang because guests come back here, Dr. Mike, can get their picture with the moon jellies. Hope you guys enjoyed this segment from Brookfield Zoo, Chicago.
In the sun, but to let tramps like us, baby, we were born to run.
Jeremy Allen White, no longer a tortured Chicago chef in his latest role. He's taken on the task of becoming Bruce Springsteen for the new movie, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. And Jake is about to interview him about that performance this morning. How amazing.
Right, it really is. The clock is ticking here. Before he does, though, we wanted to check in with him to talk more about it. And Jake, explain where you are this morning.
Yeah, so this is pretty unreal. We're just about 20 minutes away from sitting down with Jeremy Allen White for that Springsteen biopic. But we're doing the interviews not in a hotel room, not via Zoom from my apartment. Take a look at this. This is the Stone Pony. This is the bar. This is the club in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Not necessarily where he got his start, but really the place that is most synonymous with his rise to stardom. This stage he performed on so many times along with the E Street Band. In fact, most of the time, people come out here hoping for maybe a surprise spotting of Bruce Springsteen, because you never know when he's going to come out and just pop on stage. In fact, guys, take a look. This is our setup where we're going to be doing some of the interviews. And the props behind us, not just props, this guitar right here, an actual Bruce Springsteen played guitar. They have things here just seeping in history. The whole movie is such a love letter to the artistic expression that comes from the boss's work. You walk around the streets, the boardwalk that we showed you in the last hour here in New Jersey, and you can almost just hear the songs without even having them playing in your AirPods. So I want to give you just a little preview. We got so many guitars here on the stage. We got authentic played drums. This is basically the birth of the boss, as it were. So I want to give you just a little behind the scenes look to how these interviews are going to go. I'm going to be sitting right there in just a couple of minutes. And if you think I have walked out here on stage and not performed a little Born to Run, a little Born in the USA, a little I'm on Fire, if you think I have the capacity, no, that's correct. That is correct. So yeah, does it sound great? No, it doesn't, but I did it anyway. That way I can say that one time Bruce and I shared a stage, not at the same time, but at least, I could say that's as close as I'm going to get to being the boss. So we're out here, we're live, Asbury Park, New Jersey. The movie comes out a little bit later in October. We'll have our interview with Jeremy Allen White, of course, basically a Chicago resident by this point. We're going to have that interview coming up a little bit later, but for now, we are live out here. The Stone Pony, tossing it back to you guys in the studio.
Jake, this is just the coolest thing ever, getting that behind the scenes and having you live from New Jersey. This is awesome.
Wait, hold on, really quick. Hold on, don't go anywhere. Hold on.
You better not get kicked out before this interview.
Wait. Let's see. I'm doing.
There we go.
I did it!
This has been your Fox 32 Week in Review. See you next time.